Well, a very good afternoon and welcome to the Big Chat with myself, SK Phasha. What an absolute honor. What an absolute honor to finally have her live in studio. I mean, it's been a while. She's been sick, very sick. But she's finally here. She's finally here. The chair lady of Lerumo Lions out in the Northwest, I believe. But if I'm incorrect, she will correct me. This is a lady that has done so much in football over the last couple of years, over the last couple of seasons. I mean, a passion for the game. You'd see also her live on Instagram. The passion is more than anything. And I think she'll also let us know on a particular story of an ex-footballer, one of the best footballers in his time, that is Kansili Siwasha. The man is also working with her at the club. I think most of you guys know her as one Pong Pong. Hey? Over 600,000 followers on Instagram. I think she's possibly the third lady in South African football to own a football club after Me Matomadlala with Golden Arrows. And of course, Me Riali Dwaba, who done that with Ria Stars almost 2 decades ago. Sibongile, Marokana, popularly known as Pong Pong. A very good afternoon to you.
Hi. Thank you for having me.
You good?
I am recovering from this flu, but yeah, I'm good.
Let me first and foremost say thank you. Thank you so much for honoring the invitation. I think, myself and the team here, we've really been looking forward to this. And last week, when I told the gents that, no, Khasha, man, like, man, but come on, But thank you so much for the efforts. We truly appreciate it. I think we're going to have fun more than anything. But we are going to start, in the infant stages with you. Just take us through Kimang Pong Pong. I think people need to know, who exactly are you?
Okay. Let me start by explaining the meaning of Pong Pong.
Okay.
Because that comes up a lot. Pong Pong Kidi Sweetie Gaspedi. So my mom used to give me that name. She used to call me that all the time. And I got stuck with it. So that's where it comes from. Raised by a single parent, grew up in Tembisa, born in Soweto, Kobara. Home is Northwest Kobetane, which is the family home where my parents are from. And yeah, hence my team is also there. Very ambitious. I love football. There's a passion, but more importantly, it's a calling for me. So I'm just in my journey and things are aligning as they should be in this process.
All right. So it's a bit of a shock. And I'm sure also for other people as well when you speak about Tembisa, not far from here. For you, growing up in Tembisa, how was it for you growing up in Tembisa? I think we all know the footballers that grew up there. But for you personally, how was it growing up in Tembisa?
Honestly, it was, I mean, I didn't know any better. It was norm. It was a norm for me. So it was okay. No issues there. Got a bit of that street wisdom as well, out like us, you have to have it.
Yeah.
Fortunate enough, I get multiracial school, so I got to interact as well with different races, got to be balanced overall. So nothing really major.
Yeah.
To me, yes.
And then when you speak about, once again, I think I just really want to get to know, the human part before we get to the football. The Phillies game. Were you also attending those in the yesteryears? Did you have any favorite team at the time?
To be honest, in I always go to final, to be quite honest. So the build-up, I'm not there, but the final or the semi-finals, usually I do attend. I'm a big fan because Kiko Tembisa, man, it's always been a big event. How Kholed was one of the biggest events. Everybody used to anticipate and wait for it because it was so exciting. Last year actually, the games are Zankaya. I think I only managed to catch one game because of time. But the initiative is great and it's grown bigger and bigger with each year.
Absolutely. And any favorite players when you were still growing up? Because I think I really want to get to know the human part, as I said. So tell us maybe your favorite players, maybe Kotembisa or maybe in football, professionally, internationally, the clubs that you used to love or certain players.
Okay, Harohola. Grew up, everybody Chiefs fan in the house. You don't have an option. Obviously, with time, you start having your own voice. I mean, your own picks, because now you understand the sport even better.
Yeah.
So, not Dr. Khumalo was my player of all time, still is, I guess. He'll forever be Dr. Khumalo.
Yeah.
Steve Lekoelea.
Cheaper.
Yeah, no, Steve Lekoelea was one of those exceptional raw talent that we don't even find as often. Maybe we're not looking deep enough, but we're not finding as much talented young players as he was at that time.
Yeah.
But obviously with growth, I ended up secretly a Sundowns fan. Yes, I'm a true Sundowns fan. And internationally, Foden is my player. Yes, Foden is my player. Locally, Sundowns, ke rata Morena.
Yeah.
I like how versatile he is, and I like how hardworking he is. His discipline on and off the field. I have not met him personally, but there's certain things you can pick up about a certain player, like how much he respects his work as well. So, yeah, those are the players for me.
And you speak about the greats. I mean, Dr. Khumalo, I mean, what an absolute peach of a footballer that guy was. Have you had any opportunity to meet him in person?
I actually did at the Celebrity Games. So I'm part of the Celebrity Games as well. I represent the gospel team.
Yeah.
And he was there and I got to actually meet him. Nice guy, I must say. He was a very nice guy, very chilled.
Did you ask for a shirt? Did you?
No, I was busy because the team was playing. There was a whole lot going on. So I was busy up and down. So he was sitting with Andile Ngube. So Andile and I go way back. We even went to school together at some point. So I went there to greet Andile and he was there and we just had just a quick chat.
Yeah.
But I was very much busy on that day.
And the other player that you also spoken about, have you met him, Steve Lekoelea?
I haven't. And funny enough, that was my crush.
Oh, wow.
Growing up.
Okay, Chipa, if you're listening, here we are. So what would happen if you would meet him? Because, would you tell him that, or would it just be a case of, I really like the way that you play, and I had a crush on you at the time?
I loved the way that he played, but that song was true to the words. That song was true to the words. Steve was like that guy. You anticipated to just see him on screen. You would get excited, but meeting him, obviously, we know the challenges, the norm challenges that we should not be making norm in football. I would like to hear his story and how he got to where he is now, the challenges he went through, because having to have Mkhanyiseli on the team, I got to have a bit more insight of life after football. And I really it's interesting for me to find out how he's coping where he is, how's life after football treating him.
Absolutely, and there's one of the lives that you also spoken about, and you've spoken about the importance of education over football. I think we'll also get to that in regards to these footballers after football not having too much to do, and I think we'll really also delve into it. Now, moving to Mamelodi Sundowns, the club that you now support. When did the love for Sundowns start, and why?
Obviously, us Batwaratang Sundowns, it's about the last 6-7 years or so. Not a decade yet, you'd be lying.
Yeah.
But I think with Pizzo, I loved the structure of the team and I could see the potential in the team. I think I started waking up there in terms of Sundowns. When Rulani came in, he changed the team, he changed the dynamics, the game, and they started playing a different football. And interesting enough, I find him to be an exceptional coach, Rulani, even though he never played in football, but the theory, and he shows how much he loves the sport, that he put his heart into it, and you could see it even in the players, how much they'd sacrifice and give for the team, So for me, Sundowns, yes, let's say the past 6 years.
All right. Speaking about Ronaldo, he's due to come and visit us in the next couple of weeks. I think I'll give you a call.
Great. I need to hear this interview. I'd love to be present if possible.
Absolutely. Nice. It's done. It's done. And now, when you speak about Sundowns as well, I think you've got a basic understanding of the game. What excites you about Sundowns in regards to the way that they play?
I think the determination. Those players are self-motivated.
Yeah.
It's difficult to have a team where the balance of the attitude, the atmosphere is the same. The goal for them is one, and they go in as a team. So you find players individually, each person will play their own game. The other one feels they're a bigger star than the other one. But with Sundowns, everybody's a star. Now it's very competitive, and that's what I liked about it. It was very competitive, the team, the way they perform, because now everybody there's one goal, and we're all going to achieve the single goal.
Speaking about attitude, we're going to go back and forth.
No problem.
Growing up, what type of a kid were you? What type of a person was Pong? And maybe also just expand in regards to your siblings. Did you have any siblings?
I actually don't have siblings.
Oh, shame.
I'm an only. And I was not lonely, because people think being an only child means you're lonely. I honestly had a good childhood. I didn't have any issues. My mom, overprotective, I think that's the only challenge I had. But besides that, I was not really a problematic child. I've always been vocal in terms of communicating. I communicate if there's a need that I'm running late, I'm not here, I still do it till today. It's a habit I can't get rid of. I'm to the T with information. So I don't think my mom actually got a lot of challenges. I was not really that much social as well. In terms of going out, groove and things like that, I was not one of those. And till today, I'm not social, let me put it that way. I'm not very social. I'll attend an event 2 hours at max, and then I want to be in my own space.
But why is that? Why I wouldn't say antisocial, but maybe it's protecting your space or peace. Why are you that type of a human being? Is it also in regards to the way that you grew up?
Maybe because I spent most of the time it was with my mom only. I think maybe I kind of closed that. So the thing is, I'm a very loving person, and I'm very giving. So people tend to take, I think maybe it's a protection thing. I think you're kind of right, because people tend to take advantage of that. So sometimes you need to put that wall and just don't let them in. Like, keep your space. If there's a need, you'll pitch in, you'll assist, you'll advise, whatever be the case. But that wall must always be there, because I'm very sensitive. So I think maybe in a way it's kind of like a protective layer that I've put up.
Well, we are in conversation with the Pong Pong. I think now at least, I do have a better understanding and how to pronounce it. And actually, when you are saying you are very well, so I think it's going to be a beautiful chat that you are going to be having with you. Now, let's move on to the football club. Take me through the interest of owning a club. Where did that interest start, and why, before we go in particular, you owning Lerumo?
Okay. All right, the passion has always been there. I always say it's like a fire within that you can't contain. And at some point, it just explodes. And this is the time where now you blossom. Now you need to be hands-on. Now you want to do this thing, actually. You want to physically be involved in it. And that's where I'm at. But it's always been there. It's just, at that time, I think Nixa understanding. Maromakala, you're always drawn to this. You're always drawn to football. Why are you always drawn to football? You don't pick it up. Hence, I say for me, it's also a calling. Because I knew at that time, this is the right time. Now I need to start my team. Now I need to start assisting more gilly hands-on, So that's it for me.
And you bought the club from another team.
Status.
Goodness. Well, there you go. Well, you bought a status of a certain club out in the Northwest, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
why Northwest? Because one would think born and bred, or in Soweto and Tembisa, if you like. Why Northwest in particular?
Because Kichai, so we still go home Gwale. Christmas, we are there. Most of my relatives, Boluketse Gwale. So it's rooted for me to be there. And as I'll refer back to the calling thing again. So it was not a no-brainer for me. I was not confused, or maybe thing, or so maybe because no, I knew exactly where I need to be. So
take me through the talks when you are buying the status of the previous club. Was it easy? Was it difficult?
It wasn't difficult at all. The thing is, the only difficult thing was, I think, trying to go in partnership with, or letting someone who wanted the partnership, allowed them in that space. The space that I'm talking about, that I'm always trying to protect. I was looking for a status. I have a relative, a cousin, who's been in football, but obviously with no growth. And I said, I want my own team. It's like, no, but I've been doing this for some time. Why don't we go together? Me being me, it's like, okay, maybe, but you've got experience with football as well. You've had a team for some time. Let's do it together, no problem. I bought the status. Then we started working together, and it was just a nightmare. Our visions were not aligned, obviously. I had a certain direction I wanted to take, and somebody else has a way they've been running their team, and they want to bring that here, and it's not going to work for me. So in terms of buying the status, he actually introduced me to the man that was selling the status. So that's how I met him. I had a conversation with this guy and paid, and things started to align from there. So it wasn't really a tough process. I think maybe most people might struggle with raising the funds, might be your biggest challenge, but in terms of paperwork, I didn't have issues. Not at all.
And to be precise and exact, how long have you been owning the club?
3 seasons, my 3rd season.
How's it going?
I'm getting better with each season.
And what are the dreams and aspirations of owning, that football club? And for you, maybe just going back, why did you decide to rename it to Lerumo?
Initially, when we went into partnership, his team was Bokoni.
Yeah.
So we just took everything like that, just the name. Obviously, status still belongs to me. Everything that I ever purchased still belonged to me. But we just took the name because it was there, but obviously not active, not big enough, not growing enough. And when we went our separate ways, then I was like, no, I need to get rid of this. Let it be me. I mean, my security company, Lerumo Security, there's Lerumo Minerals. So there's a lot of things that come with Lerumo.
Okay.
So I was like, no, but then let me have my team align so that they all fall under one bracket, one umbrella.
The name, what will you've shortly expanded in regards to Lerumo, your other businesses, but why Lerumo? What is in that name?
Funny enough, Lerumo Security, ke Lerumo la setšhaba. And then I don't know, that name just came to mind, and somebody raised it to me after some time. So ke register do you understand Lerumo la setšhaba kumkhonto season? And I'm like, I didn't even pick it up. Like for me, it was not even neither here nor there. That name was just fitting. It just came to me. So since Libitso Leo, for me, I hold it very highly because I don't know why litisiso gonna even to keep on and le ha ke le bolela ke le utlwa gore ke kgotsofetse ka lona, So yeah, Lerumo is more.
And then now coming to the football club now, the running of the club day to day, what exactly, when you on your free days or when you do go to the football club, what is it that you do on a daily basis when you are at the club?
It depends. Like, okay, fine. Tomorrow we've got a friendly game. So tomorrow we're with Super Sport.
Park?
Yes.
Okay.
So in the mornings, I'll be there. I need to make sure I've got the assistants, I got 2 here, my nephews as well. They'll manage those things. Water, they need to remind me of certain things as well. Clubhouse, MK, and the team manager Sihu will take care of a lot of things. The boys, the kids, we've got a kit manager. The food, I've got their food, have prepared the lunch, things like that. And then we'll meet on the field. I'll watch, I analyze, because I analyze all the games, by the way. I'm that involved.
Okay.
I analyze and then would have discussions around the team, what's going on, this player, because I'm actually very good at analyzing players. I pick up the injuries before the team picks up an injury, literally by watching games. Like I'm very good at it. Even the attitude, if somebody's down or they're going through something, I'm always the first person to pick it up. So I watch all the games, analyze, we have discussions, and then that's that. And then I'll head out, or we'll have lunch together with the team, and then go our separate ways. If need be, I have to go to the clubhouse or training. I'll leave Johannesburg, travel to Northwest if maybe it's not too early, then go to the clubhouse, check if everything is in order, if it's clean, it's tidy, is everybody doing what they're supposed to do, because we've got individual responsibilities. Check paperwork, we'll have reports that I'll get from the team manager, go to the field, talk to the coach, have a discussion with some players, because I like to engage with the players as well. I get to read them, I get to understand their personalities. So I'll have conversation with certain players, and even if I want to know some information they might be hiding, I will definitely get it from someone because I'm engaging with them. So I'll always put the one I know is the likely one to give me information in a corner and be like, what's going on? Who did what? Get the confession, then come back and deal with matters. But basically that's that. Because most of the time it's training, and I'm really in full force and full support of that.
What's the end goal? What is it that you want to achieve with this football club?
Honestly, obviously, I would like to see myself in the PSL, but I think the biggest thing for me, as I said, it's a calling to be able to give a platform to those that don't get it easily. You don't wake up and find it, but I want to give people a chance. And even if I can help just one football player or two football players in my whole career in football, I'm content. You know, it's to give a platform to grow with these boys, give them an opportunity. That's why most of my players, they're not known.
Yeah.
They are not the familiar names
True.
that everybody knows, you know, because some people, because they are not known or don't have a certain connection, they don't get a certain chance. So that's me. If I can help one or two throughout this 2 seasons, because I want to be in PSL.
Yeah.
These 2 seasons, I would have accomplished what I needed to do. It's a calling, it's a journey, and in this journey, I need to be able to help someone else.
Absolutely. And now, when you speak about, you know, another important thing is the mental health of these players. I mean, they are human beings before anything else.
True.
How important is it that you also be supportive in regard to that and ensure that, you know, whatever that they are going through personally, you're able to assist them?
It's very key because, like you, on a normal day, if you are disrupted or mentally thinking about something or stressing about something, you are not productive when you get to your workplace. So with them as well, they won't be productive when they go on the field. No matter how many opportunities or how much exposure I give them, they will not perform because there's something that's bothering them. We used to actually have wellness sessions. It's just we're in pre-season, we haven't started with the league yet. But the wellness sessions we actually do were individual, and I'm not involved because sometimes people say, I can't talk about it, boss lady might think this is too much, you know. So I try not to be involved in that. Obviously I get a report, but not to be involved because I want to give them that space. Yeah. So we do have wellness sessions as well in the team.
And supposedly that it also does benefit the players long term as well.
It does quite a lot. And I think as well, having somebody that's been through the ins and outs of football, but the reality of it, because people glorify football. Yes, it is to be glorified, but they look at it from one side where it's all glitz and glamour, and they don't see the other side of football. So having someone like MK as well there, it assists because he can give them the pointers and say, this is me, this is what happened. I mean, he was young as well when he made his debut.
16.
And
like Cape Town.
So for him to be able to say, who would have thought I'm here now, but I'm willing to share my story so you guys can also learn from it and not make the mistakes that I made. Because if we look, I think history is just giving us this thing written on a book, but no one's taking it seriously. If we look at the history, look at our former or ex-pros, they all head in one direction. It's very sad and it's very disappointing. When you look at the amount of money a person earns every month and a year later this person is really, really grasping for food or for stability, it's quite sad. So to have someone like that as well, to be able to give them the reality of football as well, the one that we sugarcoat and no one wants to talk about, it's quite important for them, for their growth, for their mental state as well, for them to actually know this can happen, and not think it's always going to be smooth. They need to know that challenges are like this, and how do I deal with this, to think outside the box.
And you know, when you also speak about that as well, maybe Sewahla, what exactly does he help you with at the club? And I think his experience is second to none. I mean, he's played in the PSL at a very young age, and you speak about, you know, the challenges that footballers have off the field. I mean, get it DM, you know, it's a lot. It's DMs, you know, it's the money, it's the fame. It's not easy to handle at a very young age. But how important is Sewahla to the club, to you, secondly, and what exactly does he do with the club?
Sewahla is key because he gives a real testimony, you know, and he's not shy about it. He's very blunt and honest about it. Sewahla, in a way, I always say, I think in Naliena, we were destined to cross paths because of the way we met as well. I don't know if you have an idea how we met.
The live
and
everyone was asking.
Yeah, because that thing for me, it's 1 in a million that happens, you know. So I always say it was just meant to be because even when you got here and process everything is just falling into place. So I feel he was part of this journey. He was meant to be part of this journey. As now I like to talk about, let's not talk about just the glitz and glamour, but let's also talk about the realities. You know, and he brings that element. He needed to be there for them to believe. Because me, I could tell the story and say, you know, only players, so but close it's all about what I've read. And MK is there, who's gone through the struggles, even when he reached Poland, how he struggled to get a team, things like that. True. It's very key for these guys to understand it's not easy, because they turn to think it's easy. I mean, if you look at, or you go Kokasi and you just ask who wants to be a football player, 90% of them want to be football players.
Absolutely.
Because they're only seeing it on the glorious side of it. They think it's easy, you can wake up and you're a star. They don't understand a lot of hard work also goes into it, and a lot of, especially discipline as well, how you carry yourself on and off the field. It actually affects your whole entire life, and not just you on the field. So MK needed to come play that role, the more realistic role for these players to understand, because Bamids, and now they get to see him right here, Mopelabona, telling them, hore, guys, it's not simple.
It's a very touching story that you speak about, and when you look at your players in particular, looking at them as to what exactly is it they want to achieve. They want to be professional footballers, but unfortunately not everyone can play at that highest level. Do you also have those conversations with them that, listen, of course I've given you this opportunity to play, but you must also understand that not everyone can make it pro?
Yes, and I most especially I tell them, Gary, you know what, I will always give you a platform. And that's why if you look at my team, the team, especially pre-season, like we'd go to your Zimbabwe, we'd play with the teams to go NFD, some teams from PSL. Because first of all, for me to measure myself and to see where my team is, I need to play competitive teams.
Absolutely.
In order for me to understand am I getting that we're not? Are we winning? Just to measure myself. But for them as well, I always say, I can give you as many fields as possible to give you exposure, but at the end of the day, it's up to you what you do on that field. I won't play for you. I'm not gonna do a favor and say, hey, Maramutu also, you need to do the work as well. It's I can give it to you, but I'm not going to spoon feed you. So you talk to these boys, but babang man, they're bringing someone at the sharp. They come there, babang, he thinks he's a star because Kokasine is star. He wants to act all big there and disrupt. And it's sad because those are the players you end up, talented ones usually do that. I've had a player now, well, two players, one of them is young. The other one, he's now 23. So he's no longer an under. So I wanted to get them to an NFD team and was looking promising, everything working out. The one that misbehaves is the young one who's 21. Doesn't come to training. He's always got stories and things. And I said to him, you know what, you're very talented, but not everything is going to come to your lap. If you decide not to work now, you're not going to get anybody else who's going to push you the way I've been pushing you. Because I try by all means to make sure you're okay. But if you don't appreciate it, you're going to struggle. Now he couldn't go to the NFD team. The other one came back with an injury after after break, Like we closed off for like 2 weeks. He comes back with an injury. He goes there. Only when he's there, he tells me, he's like, ish, boss lady, I've got an injury and it's starting to expose me, my heart. Because he's been looking forward to being in a bigger league, a better league. And I've given him this chance and they are willing, And he goes there with an injury when he decided to play a tournament. So it's so sad that some people, these things, man, I don't know what it is. It's like they don't take themselves seriously. And that's one of the things that beats me, because if you don't take yourself seriously, and I'm taking you seriously, and I'm trying to get you to a point where other people will start taking you seriously, but when are you not putting in the work? It kind of defeats me. So, I know I'm saying a whole lot of things now.
No, but we need to know. I mean, also, maybe the challenges as well. When you speak about the challenges of owning a club, we do not know that. You've briefly spoken about, needing to buy certain things on match day. But just take us through holistically the challenges of owning a football club, and I mean everything.
I think, all right, it's a good question, because people look at me and think it's easy, or they think, this one. Because people look at me on social media and think, softie, cheese, everything. No, guys, I work hard. And it's expensive. That's the biggest one. It's really expensive. I mean, you'll see people banaling the team go to Premier League, even calling it quits. Now who am I? I'm driven mostly by my passion, So it's expensive first and foremost, the biggest challenge. You'll see people sending me emails and saying "Rukupa kit, rukupa in," as if they're just laying around there. I don't know, Kenale factory maybe. Yadi fella just to hand out. People don't understand or if I do have, then kitlo assist. But it shouldn't be like demands. No, she's got it easy. No, I work really hard, guys. Really, really hard. First and foremost, it's expensive, and there are challenges from the governing body where, for example, my third season, I've never received a grant. And people probably think there's a grant or there's a funder or something. No, it's actually coming out of my own resources to run this team. You get to meet different personalities. So you are dealing, I always say they're my kids because personality and and you have to understand or how do you deal with these people overall as one, each and every single one of them. And then you've got the technical team, and you've got a coach who's got his own mind, and you've got this team manager, so coach, they are pulling in different directions, and already that's a problem. Because I think most of the time my biggest challenge would be my technical team. Because this filters down to the players. This one has their favorite players. This one has their favorite players. And that's why most of the time I'm hands-on. I prefer to have my own view and my own observation and conclusion based on what I have seen. You know, so there's a lot of challenges in this. Sometimes you get, for example, now my challenges, the owners, the other teams, they tend to find me as a threat. I don't know why. We're all in football. There's just issues. They don't mind going on social media and making unnecessary noise about Lerumo lines. And it doesn't bother me because if I had to say one word, I would shut the team down, you know. So I just keep quiet and observe. But the more people talk about me and my team, I feel like it's the more we are growing. It's the more we are relevant. We are relevant because there wouldn't be any talk and any noise if never saruboni. But they see us. And it means now they can't even close their eyes to avoid us. They have to watch. You know, so it's a lot of challenges, And support, I think the biggest thing is support. If you're going to own a team, uskabali mindset taure, let's say NFD, PSL, honale grant. It's not enough. Let them not lie to you. It's not enough. The traveling costs are huge. You know, you need to always to try and cover. So people must not look at it and think it's that easy. If there's no sponsorship, if there's no funders, investors, or someone who's willing to contribute to your team, then you must know you must focus. It's all on you. And that's the mindset I have. It's all on me. Whatever will come, for example, we've got a technical sponsor now. We've got a apparel sponsor. Food Pro. And it was a relief because that meant what? It meant I did not have to spend as much marketing, you know. So things like that, as they come, that's how you reduce your costs. But they don't just come as well. You work hard for it. Libona to want that affiliation or association with me or the club was because they can see but motowa pusha we can work with her. You know, it's not going to be just a team relaxing fella weekend if we feel like it and then you expect to get sponsors or you're always demanding or wanting things. No, guys, we work for these things.
And when you speak about, you know, the sponsor the technical sponsor that you now have, you know, how long is the deal? How important is it? And what exactly, I understand that, you know, on match days they supply you with playing kit, but what exactly does that translate into in regards to, you know, the sponsorship? Is it just the playing kit? Is it training? Is it what exactly?
It's the whole apparel, overall travel, bags, everything. It's everything. It's very important because for now, first and foremost, ikatile that weight in terms of the financial weight, if we could eat some more, but as well to have but understanding vision yaka, because they studied me a bit and I think they know us. They were not the only ones to approach, but bang study sheets, so they kind of brought something it talks more to me. Cleanliness, I like my post to always look good. Even before we had a sponsor, I would make sure that's done. It's a standard clean boys, you know. So these guys, them coming on board, it's really helped a lot. Ikatile, obviously, the issues of finance, but it's also assisted in bringing that unison. My team looks like team Premier League. Because image is important to me. How you look is key for me. you know. You have to ubontsho wa ithata. And also confidence. Feel confident.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a thin line between, you know, confidence and arrogance. And
Yes.
you've spoken about some of the players, the 23 and 21-year-old, you know, a bit of arrogance here and there. And with all due respect, hasn't achieved anything. How do you now also deal with those type of players that, you know, think, yeah, well, I'm the star of the team? What do you say to them and how do you deal with those?
I also believe it's key we must raise this thing. La motho a fitla a re star of the show. Go na le motho mo teaming o metsang a feel that way. And that's why le bona they feel, because if you walk into my house and you feel, no, I should be treated in a certain way. This is my house, my rules. Understand? How can I not adjust as an individual to respect the space? But if somebody here is already treating you that your feet, then automatically you know that thing above everybody else, and you think you're better than everybody else here.
Yeah.
And I think that's why my challenge mostly about within the technical team, because there's always going to be obanly the favorites, obanly ingi, okay, na better player according to them, and that's why I become hands-on. I'm always the person all neutral. But the personalities, there's no way. There's no way. You can only give rules and people follow. If they don't follow, then everybody has
more to the professional setup now. We understand who you are, what is the end goal. But when you look at the 16 teams, or 32 rather, in the NFD as well, but I think let's speak about more professional or known figures in football. Who do you look up to and why?
Okay, Sismanto, I always say Sismanto. Reason ke morata this lady is the way she carries herself. And I like how she's involved, but yet only that privacy. And it's key for me because I think maybe personality ya ka ya tsamaelana. Ke rata that space. Ke rata hore I'm knowledgeable, I know what I'm talking about, but yet I'm still here. Ke nna motho also. So she's one of the ladies I respect. Growing up, Ria, obviously Mam Ria was the one for me. And the biggest thing about her, like some people would be, not a lot, but some people would be like, hi, you must not wear tight things. You must not wear this. And what I liked about Mam Ria was like, it doesn't mean because I'm in this male-dominated industry, I must now dress like a man. I need to be a man. For what? I'm still a female.
Yeah.
I'm still feminine. I haven't lost that because I'm in this environment. And that's what I liked about her confidence, the way she carried herself. She was like, I'm here, yes, lampona.
Yeah.
Maraketile bolo.
Yeah.
And that's with me as well. Nah, I'm not one. You can't contain me. You can't contain me, unfortunately. So I am who I am. But how well in our utor, but okay, this person waits about Taiwan. It's not just for show or a status thing, you know.
Quite rightly so, working in a male-dominated environment, such as we do as well, you know, also doing a bit of work with Supersport. But for you, there's certain remarks that you get, and I think it's a fact, particularly when you're, on the fields, maybe how trying to assist the players, saying this or that, and you hear some certain comments, negative comments at such. How do you deal with those? And secondly, who supports you through your down moments? I think that's very important because you've spoken about the challenges, but who supports you, and how do you deal with these negative words that come up against you because you are female and doing so well in that league?
I've learned to ignore the noise. I think it's something maybe I've learned from maybe social media has assisted me, because you'll get people that will randomly live better lives and all they do is just go negative on social media to make themselves feel better. So I just take it as this person is going through something, let them deal with themselves. I'm not bothered. They're not going to change anything. Or change.
Yeah.
Them saying what they're saying is it going to change? Who gets worse?
Yeah.
It won't make a difference to me. In fact, the more you try to be negative, the more you actually push me, because nakarata challenge. So the more you are pushing me to work harder, the more you are pushing me to be more present, So I've learned to just shut down the noise. I think especially in this day and age, it's everywhere. Regardless whether you have nothing or you have so much, there's always that negative person or group that will always try to chap at you every now and then.
Yeah.
So things like that, we don't entertain.
And who supports you in your down
Oh
moments?
yes, my mom. No,
I think you must come with her when we do have
I
Coach
do.
Rolani.
Oh, and she's so vocal.
Yeah.
Yeah, but my mom has always been there for me. I think because Vele being the only child, the relationship, we were very, very close. We're still very close. My daughter is also learning to step in there because I would sometimes feel I'm so upset and I want to cry, and my daughter will come and she'll be like giving me a hug and sit with me a bit. So I think she's kind of learning bits of how to deal with me because I do get emotional as well. And my mom is the biggest one. Yeah,
before we close, I think but we'll give you time to heal proper, and I'll give you the responsibility to say, Karabo, Nakishapu, can we do another part? But before, in closing, what's your message to other club holders? I wouldn't say the players, but what's your message to other club owners? You've spoken about the challenges.
Female or in general?
Let's start with female, because it's also the month of Lona, the beautiful woman. But what's the message to club owners in regards to, trying to, number one, treat the players better, help them financially where you can and whatnot?
Let me start with the females. In females in general, not even just in sport, don't sell yourself short. I always say this because it's important. There are women that are compromising themselves, and if that doesn't stop, it will always continue that a male person will always have an expectation. When a woman comes through looking for business or whatever opportunity or funding or anything like that. So women should not sell themselves short. They should try to do everything based on merit, because we are capable. We should not look down or underestimate ourselves. We are capable. In terms of owners, guys, I think the biggest thing, let it not be a status thing. As much as we want these boys to play and perform on the field, we must also try to support them, because sometimes you get owners that will withhold players, literally hinder somebody's progress just because this person wants to move to a different team or wants to be in another team. There's rules, there's processes that we have to adhere to, we have to follow. And some people don't do that, and it's the bullying. And guys, football must go back to being our heart and pride in South Africa. So we need to actually work together. Lebona the players as well. Yeah. Lebona as well. We assist them, but they must also assist us. Yeah.
Well, that's where we close it. And I think safely say this is the first part of the second part. And as I said, the second part is your responsibility. It's our request to really have another chat with you. But what an absolute pleasure. What an absolute pleasure it is to have Sibongile, one Pong Pong, Marokana with us here live in studio. It's been a pleasure. It really has been a pleasure from myself, the team here and everyone at Bogart Radio, the listeners. Most importantly, thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you for having me.
Well, there we are. There we end it. And it's been an honor. It's been a pleasure. And we're back again next week with another show, another episode. And hopefully she comes back very soon rather than later.
This is Bogart Radio.